Today, we're unraveling one of the most bizarre and tragic crime stories ever. A tale so twisted it sounds like a movie plot. Picture this. A guy delivering pizzas walks into a bank with a bomb locked around his neck, robs it, and then, boom, dies in front of news cameras. This is the pizza bomber case, and trust me, it's wilder than you think. Hit that subscribe button, grab a coffee, or a slice, and let's dive in. Brian Wells, 46-year-old guy from Erie, Pennsylvania, a shy high school dropout who loved his cats and lived with his mom. For 10 years, he'd been delivering pizzas for Mamma Mia's Pizzeria in Erie, a dependable, soft-spoken guy who rarely missed a shift. August 28, 2003, started like any other day. Around 1:30 p.m., a call came in. 2 small sausage and pepperoni pizzas to 8631 Peach Street, a sketchy spot near a TV transmission tower down a dirt road. Brian, nearing the end of his shift, took the job anyway. He drove out in his Geo Metro, pizzas in hand. But what happened next is dark and gloomy. He arrived, and a group, later tied to a woman named Marjorie Deal Armstrong, ambushed him. They locked a homemade collar bomb around his neck, handed him a cane-shaped shotgun, and gave him a note with instructions. Rob a PNC Bank for $250,000 or the bomb goes off. Brian's family insists he was forced at gunpoint, but investigators later argued he might have been in on it, at least at first. Either way, his next stop wasn't back to the pizzeria. At 2:28 p.m., Brian walked into the PNC Bank on Peach Street, just 2 miles from Mamma Mia's. He handed the teller a note: gather employees with access codes to the vault and fill the bag with $250,000. You have 15 minutes. He lifted his shirt, showing the bomb, a metal collar with pipes, wires, and timers. However, the teller explained that she couldn't gather that big of an amount and only gave him $8,000. Even though Wells was carrying a gun and the person who'd locked the bomb around Wells' neck told him that he was being watched, a nervous and fearful Wells left the bank with the $8,000. Shortly afterward, the bank contacted the police. 15 minutes later, state troopers spotted him in a parking lot near his car. They cuffed him, guns drawn, as TV crews rolled up, filming live. Wells told police that 3 black men had placed the bomb around his neck and that it would go off unless he completed a scavenger hunt. This hunt would eventually lead to keys that he could use to free himself from the device. As police called in the bomb squad and then took cover, Wells sat on a parking lot of an eyeglass shop near the bank. At 3:18 p.m., right before bomb disposal squad arrived, it started beeping faster. In a state of desperation, Brian twisted uncomfortably. Then, boom, the bomb exploded 3 minutes before the bomb squad arrived, tearing a hole in his chest, killing him instantly. It was broadcast live, a horrifying spectacle that stunned the nation. The FBI called it one of the most complicated and bizarre crimes they'd ever seen. Inside Brian's car, they found detailed notes addressed to the bomb hostage, a scavenger hunt for keys and codes to disarm the bomb. But here's the twist: it was impossible to finish in time. The bomb was real, rigged to kill him no matter what. So who set this up? Enter Marjorie Deal Armstrong, a brilliant but unhinged Erie local with a history of dead boyfriends. She'd been a valedictorian turned bipolar recluse. Cops linked her to William Rothstein, her ex-fiancé, who lived near the tower. A month after Brian's death, Rothstein called 911, confessing he'd hidden a body, James Roden, Marjorie's boyfriend, in his freezer. He claimed it was not related to Wells' case, and this claim drew more suspicion. In 2005, a man named Kenneth Barnes was turned in to police by a family member after speaking freely of his involvement in the Brian Wells case. Once in custody, Barnes cooperated with police and, like Rothstein, claimed that Marjorie Deal Armstrong was the mastermind behind the whole operation. Furthermore, with help from Barnes, authorities soon came to realize that Brian Wells wasn't an innocent pizza delivery guy who simply got unlucky. In fact, Barnes told authorities that Wells was in on the plot from the beginning. As Wells understood it, the bomb around his neck was supposed to be a fake, a decoy that he'd used to threaten the bank employees. With the cash, Wells planned on settling some of his debts. However, when he went to the secluded area by the TV tower, he learned that the other conspirators led by Deal Armstrong had changed their minds and put a real bomb around his neck. His family fought back, They maintained that he was an unwitting victim in a bizarre chain of events, and in fact, he was coerced, a pawn in Marjorie's game. Evidence was thin, no fingerprints on the bomb, just vague female DNA. Rothstein died of cancer in 2004 before charges. Stockton got immunity to testify. Barnes took a plea, got 20 years, and died in prison in 2019. 2 years later, Marjorie Deal Armstrong, the woman who everyone had called the mastermind, got her day in court in the bank robbing case. She appeared unhinged on the stand as she ranted endlessly and ignored the judge's demands to control herself. The jury easily convicted her on the bank robbing charges and sentenced her to life in prison. That life wouldn't last long, however, as she died of cancer in 2017, still denying she was the brains. The Netflix series Evil Genius in 2018 dug deeper, with Hoopsick's confession muddying the waters. Was Brian a willing player who got double-crossed, or an innocent man in the wrong place? The pizza bomber case left Erie scarred. Brian's death aired on repeat, sparking books, documentaries, and movies. Marjorie's crew got justice, but closure? Not really. The bomb's maker, likely Rothstein, took that secret to the grave. And Brian's role? It's still debated. Some see a tragic victim, others a desperate guy in over his head. Drop your thoughts below in the comment section. This story's a reminder. Even quiet towns hide dark secrets. If you love this wild ride, smash that like button and share it with your true crime crew. Until then, keep observing the world. See you soon.